Om Sai Ram. Myself Rajni Sharma. I am going to talk about Sai Satya Charitra chapter number 48. Warding of devotees, calamities. Story of first Shivade and second Sapadnekar. At the commencement of this chapter, someone asked Hemad Pant whether Sai Baba was a guru or Sadguru. In order to answer the question, Hemad Pant described the sign are marks of a Sadguru as follows. Sign of Sadguru. He who teaches us Veda and Vedanta are the six Sastra systems. He who controls the breath or brand his body with mudras, metallic marks of Vishnu weapons, or gives pleasing discourses regarding Brahma. He who gives mantras, carried syllables to the disciples and order them to chant the same a certain number of times but does not assure them any result in a defined time. He who by his suspicious wordy knowledge explains beautifully the ultimate principle but has himself got no experience or self realization is not a Sadguru, but he who by his discourse creates in us a distaste for the enjoyment of this world and the next, and gives us a taste of self realization, who is well versed in both the theoretical and practical knowledge. Self realization deserves to be called a Sadguru. How can he, who is himself devoid of self realization, give it to the disciples? A Sadguru does not even in his dream expect any service or profit from his disciples. On the contrary, he wishes to serve them. He does not think that he is great and the disciple small. Not only he loves him as his son, but regards him as equal to himself or as Brahma. The main characteristic of a Sadguru is that he is the abode of peace. He is never restless nor ruffled. He has no pride of his learning. The poor and the rich, the small and the great are the same to him. Hemapant thinks that on account of the store or accumulation of merits in his past birth, he had the good fortune of meeting and being blessed by such a Sadguru as Sai Baba. Even in full youth, he hoarded nothing except perhaps Chillim. He had no family, no friend, no home, nor any support. Since he was 18, his control of mind was perfect and extraordinary. He lived then fearless in a secluded place and always abided in his self. Seeing the pure attachment of his devotees, he always acted in their interest and hence he was in a way dependent on them. What experience he gave to his devotees while he was living in flesh, or even today after his Mahasamadhi, obtained now by those who attach themselves to him. What the devotees have to do is this: they have to trim their heart lamp of faith and devotion and burn in it wicks of love. And when this is done, the flame of knowledge, self realization will be lit up and shine brighter. Mere knowledge without love is dry. Nobody wants such knowledge. Without love, there is no contentment. So we should not. So we should have unbroken and unbounded love. How can we praise love without love? Everything is insignificant before it. Without love, our reading, hearing, and study are of no avail. In the wake of love followed devotion, discompassion, peace, and liberation with all their treasures. We do not get love for anything unless we feel earnestly about it. So, where there is a real yearning and feeling, God manifests Himself. It includes love and is the Means of liberalization. Now let us revert to the main story of this chapter. Let a man go to a true saint with a pure mind, otherwise fraudulently, and hold his feet. Ultimate he is sure to be saved. This is illustrated by the following story. Mr. Shivade. Mr. Sapadnekar of Alakot, Solapur district, was studying for law. A co-student, Mr. Shivade, met him. Other fellow students also gathered together and compared notes of the study. It was founded by the question and answer amongst themselves that Mr. Shivade was the least prepared of all for the examination, and therefore all the students derided him. But he said that though he was not prepared, he was sure to pass the examination, as his Sai Baba was there to get him through it successfully. Mr. Sapadnekar was surprised at this remarks. He took Mr. Shivade aside and asked him who this Sai Baba was whom he extolled so high. He replied, "There lives in a masjid in Sirdi, Ahmednagar district, a fakir. He is a great Satpurusha. There may be other saints, but this is unique. Unless there is a great store of merits on one account, one can't see him. I fully believe in him, and what he says will be never untrue. He has assured me that I will pass definitely next year, and I am confident that I will get through the final examination also with his grace." Mr. Shapadnekar laughed at his friend's confidence and glared at him and Baba. Sapadnekars. Mr. Sapadnekar passed his examination, settled at Alcakot, and practiced as a pleaded there. 10 years after this, that is in 1913, he lost his only son on account of a throat disease. This broke his heart. He sought relief by making a pilgrim to Pandharpur, Gagangapur, and other holy places. He got no peace of mind. Then he read Vedanta, which also did not help him. In the meanwhile, he remembered Mr. Shivade remarks and his faith in Baba, and he thought that he should go to Sirdi and see Baba. He went to Sirdi with his younger son Pandit Rao and was much pleased to see Baba from a distance. When he went near and prostrated himself and placed a coconut before Baba with pure feeling devotion, the latter at once cried out, "Get away." Sapadnekar, hanging down his head, moved back and sat aside. He wanted to consult somebody who would advise him how to proceed. Somebody mentioned Bala Simpi name. Sapadnekar saw him and sought his help. They bought Baba photo and came with them to the masjid. Baba Simpi took a photo in his hand, gave it to Baba and asked him whose photo it was. Baba said that this photo was a yar lover of him. Pointing to Sapadnekar, saying this, Baba laughed and all others joined. Bala asked Baba the significance of the laugh and beckoned Sapadnekar to come forward and take darshan. When Sapadnekar began to prostrate himself, Baba again cried, "Get out." Sapadnekar did not know what to do. Then they both joined their hands and sat before Baba praying. Baba finally ordered Sapadnekar to clear out immediately. Both were sad and dejected as Baba order had to be obeyed. Sapadnekar left Sirdi with a heavy heart, praying that he should be allowed to take darshan next time. Mrs. Sapadnekar, 1 year elapsed. Still his mind was not in peace. He went to Gaganpur, where he felt more restless. Then he went to Madegaon for rest and finally decided to go to Kashi. 2 days before starting, his wife got a vision. In her dream, she was going with a pitcher to Lakadasha well. There was a fakir with a piece of cloth round his neck, who was sitting at the foot of a neem tree, came close to her and said, "My dear lassie, why get exhausted for nothing? I got your pitcher filled with pure water." She was afraid of the fakir and hastened back with the empty pitcher. The fakir followed her. At this she was awkward and opened her eyes. She signed, sorry, she told this vision to her husband. They thought that this was a suspicious sign and they both left for Sirdi. When they reached the masjid, Baba was absent. He had gone to Lendi. They waited till his return. When he returned, she was surprised to see that the fakir she saw in her vision resembled exactly Baba. She reverentially prostrated herself before Baba and sat looking at him. Seeing her humanity, Baba was much pleased and began to tell a story in his peculiar characteristic fashion to the third party. He said, my arms abandoned and waist a penny for a long time. I took medicines. The pain did not abate. I got sick of the medicines as they gave me no relief. But I am surprised to see now that all the pains have disappeared at once. Though no name was mentioned, it was the story of Mrs. Sapadnekar herself. Her pain was described by Baba. Left her soon as she was happy. Then Mr. Sapadnekar went ahead to her to take darshan. He was again welcomed with the former get out. This time he was more penitent and preserving. He said that Baba displeasure was due to his past deeds and resolved to make amends for the same. He determined to see Baba alone and ask his pardon for his past action. This he did. He placed his head on Baba's feet and Baba placed his head on it, and Sapadnekar sat stroking Baba's leg. Then a shepherdess came and sat massaging Baba's waist. Baba, in his characteristic way, began to tell the story of a banya. He related the various vicissitudes of all his life, including the death of his only son. Sapadnekar was surprised to see that the story which Baba related was his own. As he wondered how Baba knew every detail of it, he came to know that he was omniscient and knew the hearts of all. When this thought crossed his mind, Baba, still addressing the shepherdess and pointing to Sapadnekar, said, this fellow blames me and charges me with killing his son. Do I kill people's sons? Why does this fellow came to the masjid and cry, now I will do this, I will again bring that very child back in his wife's home. With these words, he placed his blessing on his head and comforted him, saying, these fields are old and holy. You are carefree now. Place entire faith in me, and you will soon get your object. Sapadnekar was much moved with emotion. He bathed Baba's feet with his tears and then returned to this residence. Then he made preparation of worship and Navedya and came with his wife to the masjid. He offered all this to Baba daily and accepted prasad from him. There was a crowd in the masjid and Sapadnekar went there and saluted Baba again and again. Seeing heads clashing against heads, Baba said to Sapadnekar, oh, why do you prostrate yourself now and then? The one namaskar offered with love and humility is enough. Then Sapadnekar withstand that night the Chavadi procession described before. In that procession, Baba looked like a veritable Pandurang Vittal. At parting next day, Sapadnekar thought that he should first pay 1 rupee as dakshina, and if Baba asked again instead of saying no, he should pay one more, reserving with him sufficient amount as expenses for the journey. When he went to the masjid and offered 1 rupee, Baba asked for another as per his intention, and when it was paid, Baba blessed him, saying, take the coconut, put it in your wife oti, upper fold of your her sari, and go away at ease without the least anxiety. He did so, and within a year a son was born to him, and with an infant of 8 months, the pair came to Sirdi, placed it at Baba's feet, and prayed thus, O Sainath, we did not know how to redeem your obligation. Therefore, we prostrate ourselves before you. Bless us poor helpless fellows. Henceforth, let your holy feet be our sole refuge. Many thoughts and ideas trouble us in the waking and dream states. So turn away our minds from them to your bhajan and bless us. The son was named Mulidhar. Two other Bhaskar and Dinkar were born afterwards. The Sapadnekar pair us realized that Baba words was never untrue and unfilled, but turned out literally true. Bow to Sai, bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Thanking you, Sai Baba, for giving me an opportunity to tell the story of Sai Satya Charitra and making us to be blessed. Thank you. Om Sai Ram.
दानंद स्वामी सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की